Warnya said with lingering fear, I accidentally broke the feng shui at home that time. Not only did the business suffer, but I also had many problems with it. I even had frequent driving problems and accidents. With that, Warnya raised her wrist to reveal the bracelet her mother had left her, and said with emotion, at that time, this bracelet was already lost. If it weren't for Mr. Wade, I wouldn't be able to find it back. Paul exclaimed, it turns out that the great feng shui master you told me was Mr. Wade. Warnya nodded and said, yes, it's Mr. Wade. Paul's eyes looking at Charlie are already full of worship and admiration. He blurted out, Mr. Wade, I really didn't expect that you are the feng shui master who has always been praised by Miss Song. Charlie smiled indifferently, waved his hand and said, it's nothing more than a little bit of bugging skills, not worth mentioning. Paul hurriedly said, Mr. Wade, you are really too modest. If you hadn't pointed it out just now, my feng shui bureau might have a big problem. I'm so grateful. Although Charlie was very humble, Paul didn't think so. He already had some respect for Charlie in his heart. Moreover, even the eldest lady of the Song family praised Charlie for being more natural, not to mention Charlie. At this moment, Charlie said, I still have something to do, so let's talk about it first, and I will leave now. Warnya hurriedly asked, Mr. Wade, where are you going? Do you have the car? If you aren't driving, I will see you off. Charlie smiled and said, don't you need to retell the past with Paul? Warnya hurriedly said, Paul and I are old acquaintances. From now on, he will develop in Orus Hill. We have time to relive the past. If you don't drive today, please let me see you off. Seeing this, Paul knew that Warnya not only liked Charlie, but also put Charlie in a very, very important position in her heart. At this time, he said in a hurry, Miss Song, thank you for the flower baskets you gave, and thank Mr. Song for helping me. If you have the opportunity, you will definitely come to visit me next time. Warnya glanced at Paul gratefully, and said to him, that's fine. Since you have something to do, then I won't bother you much. Let's get together again. Paul is indeed very high in EQ, and also very high in IQ. He can see that Warnya's mind is all on Charlie, so he proposed to send Charlie to her. In that case, why not push the boat along the way and help her? So Warnya said to Charlie, Mr. Wade, I'll give it to you. Charlie nodded and said with a smile, well then, I will trouble you. Warnya smiled shyly, and said seriously, Mr. Wade, don't be so polite with me. Warnya left her bodyguard to carry the flower baskets to Paul. She pressed the elevator, reached out to block the elevator door, and said to Charlie, Mr. Wade, please. Charlie nodded slightly, stepped into the elevator first, and Warnya followed in. The elevator door closed, and the faint and advanced fragrance of Warnya's body slowly penetrated Charlie's nostrils. Warnya's taste is very high, the perfume on her body is light and long. Not only makes people feel very comfortable and refreshing, but it also smells not vulgar, and even makes people obsessive and addictive. Standing with her, Charlie even had some contemplation in his heart. It is undeniable that Warnya is indeed very beautiful, with a very noble temperament, and more importantly, this woman is too gentle when she is in front of him, and she can't see the air of Missy. The two left the Gemdale building together, and Warnya personally opened the door of her Rolls-Royce and asked Charlie to sit in. After getting in the car, Warnya respectfully asked Charlie next to her, Mr. Wade, where are you going? I will see you off. Charlie smiled slightly, then please take me back to Thompson Villa. Warnya asked in amazement, Mr. Charlie, are you going to do errands? Why are you going home suddenly? Charlie said with a smile, the time to do something hasn't arrived yet, I'll go home and wait. Although Warnya was a little surprised, she nodded slightly and said, then I will take you back. As she said that, she plucked up courage again and asked expectantly, Mr. Wade, when will you have time? I want to treat you to dinner. Charlie thought for a while and said, let's take 2 days. There have been a lot of things recently, especially today. He has already explained to Isaac very clearly that once he is ready to release Elaine, the detention center will specifically ask her to call him. At that time, he will go and pick Elaine back. The reason why he had to pick up Elaine himself was mainly because he wanted to see how miserable Elaine was now. This woman, who dared to steal $21.9 billion, would never be able to learn a lesson if she didn't suffer from it. $21.9 billion. If show mercy to her and she are not afraid of revealing identity, and he calls the police directly, Elaine will be sentenced to at least a suspended death sentence even if he doesn't shoot her for such a large amount of money involved. Let her go in and suffer for a few days and then let her out. It's already very cheap for her,